sweet silver bells all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is the song with joyful ring, all caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they bound, raising their sound. Oh, hill and dale, telling the tale. Gaily they ring, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Merry, merry, merry Christmas. All listened, all without end, their joyful tone to every home. Hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is thy song with joyful ring, how caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer.
Hello my friends, good morning. Welcome back to another Vlogmas vlog. Today's December 5th, so we have 2 teas to taste for you. And then I have a couple of books that I want to talk about. McCreeve. And I am reading an arc too that I am really excited about and just loving so much. So let's go ahead and test these teas. Kazi is down here too. I'll get him on camera. Since it's been a while since I've sat in my vlog spot, he's down here chewing on a toy. So the teas that we have today, the Adagio Tea is white chai, which I'm super excited about because it smells so good. This says ginger, lemongrass, coconut, cloves, cardamom, natural spices. Oh, that sounds so good. It smells delicious and it's like a super light color. And then the other one, the David's tea, is frosted cereal. Frosted cereal, that's right. And it smells like frosted cereal. My 13-year-old son is really excited about that one, and I told him I'd let him taste it. I offered to have him taste it on camera, and he said, no, I don't think I want to do that, Mom. So I'll taste it for you on camera. Okay, so let's taste that one first. So the first one I'm going to taste is the David's tea. So I don't hate David's tea. I just feel like in general they're a little too sweet, you know. And if you like spicy herby teas, then you probably won't like. But to be fair, I've only had their herbal teas from David's. I haven't tried their regular teas. So, hi Kazi. No. I don't like this one at all. I don't like it at all. Like, I honestly don't even put sweetener in that. That just tastes like sugar. Cosmo, come here. Come see me. Kazi, come here. He's gonna grab a toy. I only taste butter and sugar in that and I don't like it. That's a 0 out of 10. That is a no thank you. I don't like that one. Okay, let's do the white chai. See, I thought I would taste that one first because I didn't think I would like it, and this one will be a nice palate cleanser. This one is delightful. This one smells very Christmassy, and it tastes Christmassy. This had a really short steeping time of just 3 minutes, so I think that maybe I would steep it a little longer if you want it stronger. That's so good. I really like that one. Did you lose your toy over there? Do you want to come see the people? They miss you. Come here. Cosmo, come here. Come here. Thank you. Here's Kazi. He really wants his toy. No, that'll burn you. Come here. Come look at the camera. Come look right here. Say hi, everybody. Let me go get his toy. Okay, so the books that I'm reading, let's talk about those really quickly. So I decided so the last couple days I've kind of taken off work and I've just been resting. As I talked about how like stressed and overwhelmed and how my health wasn't doing so good. So I'm on a antibiotic to try and get rid of this nastiness that I have. And so I just thought I'm gonna just rest and hopefully that will help. So that's one reason why I haven't really done anything in these vlogs, is because I've literally just been staying home, resting, not working, not doing anything. So I thought, you know what, I've got time to read. I think I'll read this arc that's due at the end of the month, and it is A Scoundrel of Her Own by Stacy Reed. This comes out at the end of December. I'm loving this book so much, you guys. Like, honestly, I'm loving this so much. This has such a wonderful beginning of a childhood friends to lovers. The childhood friends to lovers starts out when he is a boy of 12 and she is 8, and he ends up, her like carriage has an accident and he is there. There's a difference of classes too. She's a lady and he is a very common sort of poor young boy, and he sees her go into the water and he jumps in to save her. They end up getting like rushed downstream and they wander in the woods for a bit. He carries her. It's so adorable. And he ends up finding this rundown cottage in the middle of the woods. And they stay there until someone rescues them. They're there for maybe like a week and they bond, and it's just adorable. And the hero's name is Devlin, or Niall, and he is so protective of her. He wants to take care of her, and they like make this pledge that they will marry when they grow up, and they promise to wait for each other. It's so cute. And so then as time passes and they grow up, and he has become a very successful man with a ton of money and financial influence, as far as successful in that way, but he's still, in the eyes of the ton, he's seen as less than. Doesn't matter that he has money, he doesn't have a title, so therefore he's not important. And she is still not married, and her family is sort of in a bad financial situation. And so Devlin tracks her down, and she doesn't know that that's the little boy Niall, and she's sort of been like night lighting it. What's the word? I don't know the word. At night, she's like masquerading as the singer for money. And so he offers her a lot of money, £10,000 or something like that, if she will come and sing a song just for him. And that's when they reunite and realize who each other is, and it is their romance. And this is fantastic. As soon as I read the childhood scene, like how they meet, I immediately went and pre-ordered this, and I fully expect this to be 5 stars. I have about 20% left to read, but it's so freaking good, you guys. Honestly, I just made a video about rating and reviewing all of the 2021 historical romance releases that I had read this year, and I am wishing that I had waited just a little bit to include this one, because this one would be in my 5 stars for sure, because this one is fantastic, honestly. I'll be very surprised if this isn't a 5 star for me. Everything that I have read from Stacy Reed has been a 5 star for me. I think she's fantastic, so very excited about that one. And then I'm listening to McCreeve. I'm on chapter 23. This book is giving me all of the feels that I had when I read the first book in the series for the first time, A Hunger Like No Other. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that book. That book, I love that book. And I love that book because of how the hero was just so completely head over heels for the heroine. And yeah, there's definitely some dubious consent in the beginning, but it didn't bother me, and I don't know what that says about me. I don't really care, because I freaking loved it. I love that book. I love this whole series, how protective and how gone for the heroine. Like, the fated mate trope in here is just so fantastic. So I mentioned what this was about earlier. He's a lichen. He finds what he believes is his mate. She's a human, hasn't become her supernatural form yet. And in the beginning, he has this really sort of tragic interaction with a succubus who he believes to be his fated mate when he's very young, like almost like barely a teenager. And she sort of ensnares him in her spell, and then she ends up destroying his family, and he carries a lot of guilt for that. So as the years pass, he keeps waiting, like 900 years have passed. He keeps waiting for his fated mate, and he believes he's found her. And then there was a twist that just came, and I am like shooketh. But I'm loving this book so much. This is what I want and expect from a Cressley Cole. You have like a totally bonkers plot that just makes sense and works for me. I just love it. You have an incredible amount of steam. You have an incredible connection between the two characters where they're just completely drawn and compelled to be together. And you have heroes who are so protective and just out of their heads in love with their women. And I just love it. So I expect this one will be 5 stars too. All right, there you go. There you have it. Those are all my thoughts on those books. And I'm going to go give this one to my kid, the sugar cereal. And then I'll drink this delightful white chai. So I'll see y'all in a bit. That's probably all I'm going to include today. I don't know. We'll see you tomorrow for some more tea tasting, and maybe I'll include something else that I'm doing. Hello, friends. Hi. It is December 6th. It is Monday, and I've had a busy day so far. I have my teas here, ready to go. I went to the gym today. I'm feeling a lot better. I feel like my cough is not going to kill me anymore. Seriously, it was awful. And I feel like my voice is almost back to normal. Like, honestly, I'm so happy about that. So I had to run some errands, and now I am ready to talk about books, taste these teas, and then get to work. So the teas, the Adagio one is cocoa mint green, cocoa mint. And I thought that would be like coconut, which was duh, but it's actually like cocoa, like chocolate. It smells like a mint chocolate. I think this is a green tea. It has cocoa nibs, natural chocolate mint flavor, and peppermint leaves. I'm very excited about this. It does smell like green tea, which basically tastes like grass. But like I can smell overwhelmingly just in my kitchen the cocoa mint. So that's good, honestly. That has a really subtle chocolate mint flavor. That's delicious. And the green tea grass flavor. I don't love green tea, but that's good. I like that a lot. That's really good. Okay, so then the David's tea has like sparkles in it. Ooh. The David's tea, I'm using my, it says tea and step backs. This is from Lourdes's shop. She has a YouTube channel. I'll link her YouTube channel down below. She used to make these. I'm not sure if she still has these up in her shop anymore, but I love it because of the step back. And I thought it would be very fitting today because today is the first day of the Historical Romance Readathon. Also, do you like my kitten hat? I've been wearing this all day because it's a hair washing day. So this one, the David's Tea, is frozen raspberry. So that'll be interesting. Also, I'm wearing my old glasses because I wear these old ones to go to the gym because I don't want to get my new pretty clear ones stained red from like when my hair gets sweaty, you know? Okay, let's try this one. That has a really fresh raspberry flavor and like hints of something else, but I'm not sure what. This one was one of the teas that has like a longer steeping time. I think it was supposed to be like 5+ minutes. And I did it for 5 minutes, but it definitely could have used more because it was kind of mild. Anyway, these are both good, to be quite honest. I like both of these. I think this one is very unique. I've never tasted a green tea like this before, and I really like it. I think the chocolate flavor is super subtle, and it's just really delicious, so I like that one a lot. This one is pretty fresh and doesn't taste like candy, so I like this one too. So they were both winners. Yay! 2 good teas today. That makes me happy. So now we're gonna talk about the books that I've read. So I finished A Scoundrel of Her Own by Stacy Reid, and honestly, I loved this book so much, y'all. Like, I told you a little bit about the overall plot, and I just adored this book. Like, I was just caught up in this story. It was one of those that I didn't want to put down. I was constantly thinking about the characters, and while I do think that I could see certain readers having some issues with some of the things that happen in here, and that's really just going to depend on your personal taste, you know? But for me, they were not enough to detract from my overall enjoyment of the story. Like, I was just so swept away in this romance. I think that Stacy Reid does a really great job of writing romances that feel so dramatic and so lush and so romantic. Like, this man, Devlin, Niall, the little boy, he spent his entire life, like from the time he left her, when they got separated, when they got rescued, he spent the rest of his life into becoming an adult, working to be able to have her as his own. And I just, like, he never lost sight of that. And there are several times in the book where he says, "What would I be without you? Because you were my dream," basically, I'm paraphrasing, "because you were my dream, all the things that I have done in my life have been to have you, to be worthy of you." And I'm just like, how can you not love a man like that? How can you not love a man like that who literally changes everything? Like, this is the type of man who will go to the ends of the earth, you know, but not just to amass a fortune, right? Because he can't work his way up in the nobility because he's not titled, he's not a part of the peerage. But so he's trying to just amass this huge fortune and this empire. And he does. So he's a little Derek Craven-esque there, which, if y'all know, I love me Derek Craven. But he also does a lot of, like, rescuing of people who are down on their luck. Some children, he helps them to be able to learn to read. He helps rescue a woman who was definitely, like, in an accident and abused because a member of the ton, like, hit her with their carriage, and then the member of the ton, of course, nothing happened to them. And so he's just, like, doing all this philanthropy work on the back end that nobody knows about, which makes him such a more powerful character because he's not doing that so anyone can see how good he is. He's just doing that because he's a good man. Like, you know how you read books? Like, I love me a rake. I love me a Regency F-boy. I do. But there's something so completely compelling and appealing about a truly honorable and good man. You know, like, he doesn't want to have any affairs once Fifi comes into his life. When he ends all of his relationships with mistresses. Like, he's just, like, a stand-up, honorable, good man, you know? And I think that's something that makes this story work so well, is because you're seeing all of how good he is, how truly good, what a good person he is, what an honorable man he is. But he's lacking that one thing that society says is going to make him acceptable, and that's a title. So to watch the Ton, and especially her parents, really fight against him as a potential marriage mate is just like heartbreaking, and it really puts into focus how much that happened in this time, you know, like it makes their story even more compelling, because you just want everyone to realize what a good man he is, and who freaking cares if he's not a duke or a lord or anything, you know. And it was just so romantic, like so romantic. It definitely was angsty, like there's a high level of angst here. But that's something I love. I really love a good angsty romance, and this was just fantastic. I loved this book so much. It was a 5-star read. It's definitely, it's just a favorite of mine. I loved it. Adored it. Can't say enough good things about it. Okay, I'm going to change my battery because it's blinking at me. I'm back. Might not be in the same spot, but it's pretty close. Okay, and so then McCreeve, I also finished this. I freaking loved this book. This is what I picture. This story is everything that I love about Kresley Cole. Oh my gosh, I loved this so freaking much. This has a really complicated relationship. I really loved, like last time I updated you, I said there was like a secret that was revealed that sort of tore them apart, whereas before that happened, they were just fated mates and everything was going perfectly, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I love their fated mate relationship, it's so good. And then a secret is revealed that might tear them apart, and they have to work through that. And a lot of that has to do with McCreeve's history and also our heroine's history, like the things we're learning about her and her life. And this was such an interesting look at this type of a relationship, and I feel like this book can sometimes get a little bit of, people don't love McCreeve. They feel like maybe he treated her too poorly, he was a little too toxic, he was a little too, you know, back and forth with her, and I can see how people feel that way. I did not feel that way at all. I loved this book. This is one of my favorites in the series now. I gave this book 5 stars. I think that they had such a wonderfully hot, with so much chemistry relationship. Like the chemistry these two had was shocking. It was so freaking good. And I loved, again, like I feel like this is like Kresley Cole does what Sophie Lark does. I mean, Kresley Cole's been around for quite a while. But, and I've known this about Kresley Cole before, but it was after reading so many of Sophie Lark's books, I'm realizing that, duh, of course, I have, anyway, Kresley Cole, she has very strong heroines, and that are able to stand up and stand right next to the alpha men in their life, and I adore that. I love how she has these moments of vulnerability that she sort of lets McCreeve see, but then if he doesn't respond in the way that she wants, then she immediately gets like hardened and she starts to be like a smart aleck to him, and it's just, oh, it's just so good. Like, I loved their relationship. It was fascinating to read through this. I loved their fated mate bond. I loved their chemistry. This was just fantastic, and I honestly just loved everything about this. So, very excited about this. And I listened to the audio, and there was actually well, it's in the book too, but you get to see a little bit of what happens with Monroe. So now I'm super hyped for Monroe to come out in January. I know that I'm in Kresley Cole's Facebook group, and her assistant who runs it, she's talking about, everybody's asking, what do I need to read for sure? I'm trying to, like, people who've been reading this series for years, but maybe they want to reread it, you know? And Naomi is like, you have to read McCreeve before Monroe. And so I'm so glad that I did. I just loved it so much. This was 5 stars. This, to me, this is Kresley Cole at her best. I just adored this. I felt like it was so clever. It had such an interesting relationship. It had a great power dynamic. It was hot. It was bonkers. It was just perfection. And I freaking loved it. And I just am sad that it took me this long to get to this book, because this right here is one of my favorites in the series. I loved it so much. McCreeve, he's a fantastic hero. Okay, so now I am going to end this vlog here, But before I do, I wanted to update you on what I'm reading right now because today is the first day of the historical romance readathon. So this is the first book that I picked. This was recently in my TBR. This is a time-traveling romance with a Scottish hero. She is a descendant of the clan that he is enemies with. She is in the Highlands for a school trip. Her sister's a teacher. She went to go on that trip with them, and she ends up inadvertently getting sucked back in time. And he asks her name, he hears what it is, and immediately he puts her in jail, and she's his captive now. So I am listening to the audio of this because I just prefer, that's how I get all of my reading done. I very, the physical book that I read is because I took the weekend off from work, and it was a Scoundrel of her own. Ordinarily, physical books take me a very long time to get through because I just am working or busy with my family all day. I know I say that all the time. So I did get the audio for this, and I just have to tell you that Shane East is the narrator for the male part. And Shane East with a Scottish accent is basically perfection. It's the thing that dreams are made of. So he is wonderful. I'm not a huge fan of the female narrator, but I would die for Shane East. So I'm enjoying this a lot. I'm pretty far into it. It's a very short audiobook, but I'm liking it a lot. It's very fun. So I'll have an update on this for you in tomorrow's clip, which will start a new vlog. And then I also really quickly I was going to film a weekly reading wrap up, but then I just thought, you know what? I've talked about all of the books that I've read except for 2 last week, so I'm just going to tell you about those really quickly. I do have very brief Goodreads reviews and ratings for both of these. So the first one is actually a novella. This was an arc that I had that I read at kind of the last minute right before it came out, and it's The Mistletoe Motive by Chloe Lease. Is that the right title? I keep getting the title wrong. Yeah. So this is a very short novella. It's a holiday novella. It's a workplace romance, enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine. This has, let me pull up my Goodreads review because it has quite a lot of different representation, which Chloe does really pretty well. I think for the most part, she does a good job of really having great accurate representation, and I know that if she has made errors in the past, she tries really hard to correct those, which I appreciate. Okay, so this has autism, demisexual, and type 1 diabetes rep, which is wonderful. I couldn't remember that in order, but and so the hero and heroine, they are both working at a very small bookshop, and the bookshop is in danger of going under. They're enemies. I think it has a very similar feel to The Hating Game, so if you liked The Hating Game, the sort of dynamic that those two have in the workplace, that's the very similar thing here, where they're kind of rivals at work and competing. And it comes to their attention that the shop may close, so they have one last-ditch effort to present some plans to try and get the shop not to go under. And so it's basically their romance. They have some other elements of this that I'm not going to reveal because this is a very short read. It had really great holiday vibes. Definitely had some amazing holiday vibes. It has a playlist that comes with it. It's really great. The only thing also I will say is that this is a Kobo original, so you can't read it on Kindle. You have to have the Kobo app, which is done by Walmart. So I was glad that I got an arc of this and then I didn't, because I don't have the Kobo app. Anyway, I enjoyed this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was a fun holiday read. I thought they had some pretty funny, sweet, swoony, a little bit of steamy moments in here. I do think that for me, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I can't remember if I mentioned that. But I did give it 4 out of 5 stars, mostly because I just feel like an enemies to lovers contemporary is very difficult to pull off, in my opinion. I feel like unless it's something where they're absolutely enemies, like a mafia type of thing, it's just hard. It's hard to really convince me that they're enemies. And I know she says that, a lot of people say, well, it's grumpy sunshine, but I'm just I don't really, it's all based on miscommunication, and I just don't love that. I wish that they had not been enemies like that. I wish it had been more just leaned into the grumpy sunshine aspect. And then one other thing that just kind of annoyed me, which is being nitpicky, which I will do if there's something about it that I don't love. There were several times when the heroine thought something, and then the hero would respond to her, and she thinks to herself, did I say that out loud? And I'm just how do these people not know that they're talking out loud? Over and over and over again, I don't know. Maybe I know I'm being nitpicky, but like it annoyed me. So this was cute. It was fun. If you're looking for a quick, fun holiday romance and you want like hating game vibes, you've got male vibes, I would definitely recommend this because it was fun. It was worth the read, but it's not anything that is going to be like a favorite of mine, you know? Yeah. So last year I read The Captain's Midwinter Bride, which is a historical holiday romance, and I adored that. I loved that book so much. So that book is my go-to holiday romance recommendation. It's a second chance romance. It's so sweet and swoony. It's steamy. It's just beautiful. So if you want a historical holiday book, I would say go with that one. And if you want to try a new contemporary, I would recommend this one. So it was fun. Okay, and then the last book that I read that I haven't talked about is Love in the Afternoon, the last book in the Hathaway series. I loved this book so much, you guys. This was a 5-star read for me. And I'm so happy. I feel like this was the perfect book to end this series on. I loved Beatrix and I can't remember his name, Christopher? Yeah, Christopher. I love their romance. There's a little bit of like a epistolary type of romance in here, a little bit of mistaken identity. There is definitely some PTSD representation in here. I just adored this book. It was so beautiful and I just loved this family and I'm sad that it's over. Like, this one is probably, oh, also, you want to see the step back? Yeah, you do. This is probably my second favorite in the series after Mine Till Midnight. So my ranking goes, let's see, I need to pull up all the other, because I get the book 3 and 4 titles mixed up sometimes. I don't know why. Okay, so Mine Till Midnight is my favorite. Love in the Afternoon is my second favorite. Seduce Me at Sunrise is my third favorite. And then I really love Tempt Me at Twilight. And then Married by Morning. Married by Morning is my least favorite. I mean, it's still good. It's still a 4-star read. But yeah, that's my ranking, in case you were wondering. So I loved this. I just had to let you all know. This is one of the... I feel like this is a perfect Lisa Kleypas romance. I feel like this is a perfect historical romance. I loved and adored this so much. And that's all I have to say about that. So, okay, this clip ended up being very long. But thanks so much for watching this vlog. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next Vlogmas episode.